Hello, how are you guys today?
Great. How about yourself?
Good.
I am great. I just want to first off say thank you so much. I love this documentary so much. And I love documentaries in general, but especially when it talks about the impact that Black and Brown have in Hollywood. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I just
Thank you. Appreciate your enthusiasm.
yes, of course. Now I was so interested in what made you decide to have a male one and a female one. Was there a specific reason or
Too much story to tell. Everybody we needed to tell the full story, and we need a double length long movie to do it.
And, because the women's story could not be contained as a scene or a section of the men's story. And the men
Mm-mm.
knew that. They are our allies in this. They were like, okay, two sides of the same coin. We're doing two separate films, and we can let the women do their thing, let the guys do their thing. But they work together, and that's important.
that is very true. Now, it's interesting that you say that because you guys took two different approaches, right? From the intro to the topics. I'm so interested in your introductions. Like I really loved it. I loved Reggie how it started with Denzel and his charisma, but then I love Shola how when it went to the women, you gave some stats. You also highlighted it, and it was very like it was very like flowery, so I just wanted to get a little take on that aspect and why you decided each person to go with your direction.
Well, that to me, that was the beauty of it. That's the whole point. It's like I'll tell my story my way, she tells her story her way, and I had the same reaction because I love my intro, but when I saw hers, I go, "Oh, I love this," and I love that they're different, right? I mean, that was the whole. I'm like, this is the point, right? You have women telling their own story, men telling their story, and they're perfectly complementary. That's the whole point. You have to hear from all these different perspectives because everyone's got something new and unique to add.
Yeah. I mean, the world can be a little sexist, I think. Like in some ways, the guys could have been all in one room with like a handheld camera, smoking cigars, talking like because they're all such global icons. They've built huge businesses. The women, I had to make sure I felt like that they were given a safe space to tell their truth and also that it was to honor where they are without it feeling less than. Also, in Hollywood, leading women are all, we had to deal with beauty. So I knew from the beginning I needed to design a set. And I kept thinking of like that beautiful box of chocolate where you'd come in this beautiful box and you'd open it up and pastels and from the white chocolate, the light chocolate to the dark chocolate, they all look so stunning and each one had a different flavor, texture, taste. And I wanted to honor what was the same about each one of them in the story, but also the differences. And never in my life have I done anything so pastel. So yes, you are right. But the beauty light, I worked with Bradford Young on the design and the lighting, and we had a set designer, and it was I wanted it to be a production because they deserved it, and literally it set the stage for them to tell their stories.
Yeah, listen, they both were amazing. And I really love that they were done so different because we went into the second one. You didn't expect, okay, I'm just gonna wait to hear their answers because they were totally different, completely different. I loved it. I want to talk with you, Shala, a little bit more about when it came to the women. I felt like it was so what I did really like about it was the fact that it touched on the stereotypes, the beauty standards, and the montage you did with that Oscars. It was such a gut punch. And so I think what I love so much about this documentary is it did show vastly the different journeys that women do have with men. Now, when you were deciding on what topics you wanted to take on, why did you pick and choose each one? Because there's a lot of stuff we deal with, but these ones are conversations that I felt like was a safe space, and they really educated me on a lot of the behind the scenes that women go through for real.
Oh, well, part of it is that was what was on their minds, right? Like, so, I needed to ask questions and make sure that the topics were relevant. I didn't want to impose my sense onto it because they're the experts in their field. But from a historical perspective, I wanted, the audience to understand the context of what they are dealing with and some of the obstacles without it being, no, with it being through their eyes. They love what they do. They
Yeah.
don't want to be in another business. So they're doing it. They're doing the damn thing. At the same time, they're also these minefields to navigate. And they are deep and they are historical. And because of that, they're largely invisible. So I wanted to make them more visible and the context in which they're working in Hollywood more visible.
Thank you. And Reggie, you spoke on Boomerang. So that has been a conversation, a very interesting conversation because of the impact. And I of course I watched Boomerang, but I didn't grow up that when it first came out. And so to see you tell that story, it was magical, it was powerful, and I was interested in when you were coming up what topics you wanted to talk about. Were you adamant about making sure you speak on Boomerang, but not just from the aspect of the white media and their perception of it, but the power of working together, and then also Eddie Murphy's and his impact?
Yeah, I mean, Boomerang was obviously a giant experience in my life, and there's a million different types of stories I could tell. But in that context, I thought it was important to acknowledge the fact that um, this movie, which when we set out to make it, it was because we don't have this, right? Where's our big romantic comedy? This is crazy. You got all these Rock Hudson, Doris Day movies. You got the Woody Allen movie. You can When Harry Met Sally. Where's ours, right? So for me, it was just an obvious thing that it filled a gap that needed to be filled. And it was the right movie for Eddie at that point in his career, for myself, because that's what the lives we were living in New York, and trying to be fly and going to the club, and all that. That's what we were doing. He was doing a lot better than me, but nonetheless, we were at the same club. And so yeah, we wanted to tell that story. And I want to tell the story of Black power,
Mm,
because there's a million stories about Black oppression. And oh, the man did this to me, and he robbed me, and he cheated me, and I couldn't. It's like, but there's also the story of the guy who goes, wait a minute, wait, mm-mm. He makes a phone call, and it's happening because he's like, no, you don't. You're my director. I'm the producer. You don't disrespect me by denying my director what he needs to tell the story on the scale that it should be told.
yeah.
That was historical. That was gigantic. But, and it happened. And it's important to tell that because that's how you break through. That's how you create quiet revolutions.
I love
And
that.
you don't do it alone. Like that's what every story says. You don't do it alone. You do it on the shoulders of people you may not have known. You do it with your colleagues and peers. You do it with
Yeah.
those who are just in front of you, and you don't do it alone.
Yeah. And last question quickly. I was so moved by this documentary. It really, really moved me. And you guys have been in this industry, but were you affected when you were doing this, and has it changed you or moved you in a way? Because you have the behind the scenes conversations, you have the whole journey in it. So were you changed by this documentary, especially watching it once it was done?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
You first of all, you can't hear these stories and not be affected,
Yeah.
right? And even with all my years in the business, hearing these stories from these people, and again, when Larry Fishburne is a yard away from you, right? That amazing voice, he's telling that story. I'm sorry, it's powerful, right? And that power has never gone away. But more importantly, the insights they gave when Will Smith is talking about his drive and his determination and the decisions, the life decisions he made out of as a very young man to succeed the way he has, you go, oh, what am I doing in my life? Let me get my act together. I need to pull up, get my game together. So yeah, I'm grateful to having made the film because it has transformed me.
Absolutely. To be in a room, an interview, Whoopi Goldberg, Halle Berry, Angela Bassett, Viola Davis, and the list goes on, is an incredible opportunity. But, the thing that I was struck with is it's so easy to be like, oh, just an actress.
Mm.
There's no just. There is work, there is desire, there is passion, there is talent, there is intelligence. And so it reminded me that when somebody is excellent at the top of their game, they're there for a reason. And I should look for those reasons and learn from those reasons. I found the interviews to be unexpectedly inspiring because of that dynamic. And, number one on the call sheet translates. And I like, so I'm constantly like, am I making the choice to be number one on the call sheet in my life, in my purpose, on my path to excellence? Woo!
That's
High five, Reggie.
That's the word. Thank you guys so much. And I really thank you so much for this documentary. I loved it. I watched more than once already. So
Well, look,
Oh my gosh, exactly. That's what we want. That's what
that's
we
what.
want.
Well, let me tell you
Like,
something. And you saying that means so much to
oh,
us
thank
because
you.
we feel that way, and we're like, oh, really? It's not just us. Oh, you're feeling it too? Yes.
yeah, you guys amazing. So thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.